Last winter, my sister was admitted to a hospital far away from town. She had an accident while hiking, thus had no choice but to be admitted there. Fortunately, nothing happened to me, and I was able to take care of her till we were ready to move on to the town. Though I didn't have any accidents, I experienced something similarly horrifying. On my second night in the hospital, I couldn't sleep. It was an old building with dimly lit rooms. The walls were mossy and had weird smells coming from them. Mainly this stench kept me awake. As I couldn't sleep, I thought of taking a short walk around the hospital. There were around 3 or 5 patients in the whole hospital. The number of staff was not many as well. In other words, the hospital was gravely desolate, and the cold weather gave me the chills. Anyway, as I reached the front gate of the hospital, I was about to go back, but at that exact moment, something caught my attention. There was a small cottage on the opposite side of the hospital building. The sign said morgue. I don't know why, but I was drawn to the room. The closer I got, the louder the rattling noise became. I was just outside the cottage when the light of the morgue turned off, and then everything became silent. The whole situation may have been a coincidence, but it scared me a bit. For some reason, I couldn't move, and at that exact moment, the lights turned on again. I took a peek to see what's happening inside. The small window on the door allowed me to see everything going on inside, but I wish I hadn't seen any of it. Inside the room, there was a man wearing a surgical mask and an oversized lab coat. He was doing something to a dead body lying in front of him. After taking a good look, I realized he was peeling off the skin from the dead body's face. But this was only half of it. What I saw next sent a shiver down my spine. Once he was done peeling off the skin, he put it on his face and went to the mirror located on the other side of the room. I was frozen on the spot and kept watching as he enjoyed the new skin on his face. Suddenly, he stared back. He probably saw me in the mirror. The moment he stared back, I ran to the room where my sister was. I sat there with those horrifying scenes repeating in my mind again and again. It was the most gruesome thing I'd ever seen. I was just waiting for my sister to wake up, and once she did, I told her everything I saw last night. She didn't believe me at first, but when I was finally able to convince her, she wanted to leave the hospital as soon as possible. Fortunately, she was ready to be released the very next day. We were leaving the hospital with a relieved mind, but when we were crossing the morgue, I saw that man standing there. But this time, he wasn't wearing a surgical mask. With horror, I saw his burned face. It looked dead, but his eyes were alive.